Hi, I am Dr. Doug Rosenau and a Christian sex therapist. Some of my friends have told me that maybe I am the Christian sexpert, the Christian sex guru. I have, over the past many years, listened to over 50,000 hours of stories and really desire, I know that some of you watching will be people of faith, will be Christian, and some won't be, but in this segment I really want to talk especially to those who are Christian, because I feel like we as Christians, and especially within the Christian church, has not done very well with sexuality in general and have done a really poor job of dealing with single sexuality. And part of my passion for this population of single and sexual and college-age 20-something wrote a book called Soul Virgins, and I'll talk about that more, the idea of a soul virginity, but redefining single sexuality. And I think we need to redefine single sexuality in the church. In the book, as I was trying to ponder this through and how we have failed to deal very well, sometimes we'll say true love waits, but we don't do very good at saying why we're waiting and how we're waiting, just really developing a theology. But as I was writing, I said the church, seeing the distortion in our culture, has traditionally responded what initially appears as godly wisdom. Sex is for marriage, be abstinent. But the statement, without any practical explanation of what is meant, by itself can send a disturbing underlying message. We aren't comfortable discussing what to do with your sexual desires as a single person, so if you just abstain from all erotic sexual behaviors and thoughts, you may forget you're a sexual being and won't struggle anymore. And then another unspoken message becomes within the church, as a single person, you can be asexual until marriage, and then you will be able to turn your sexual switch on. Obviously, single adults are sexual beings, and they do have sexual desires and feelings. But it seems sometimes the church views the eternal Creator as throwing his hands up in shock. Oh no, single adults have sexual feelings and desire? And now they aren't getting married until almost 30? Wow, this sure caught me off guard. What will I do? Right, you know, God's smart. We aren't going to catch him off guard. He designed single people to be sexual. And I think, gang, that's part of what is part of our problem sometimes, is that we really haven't distinguished between the difference between repression and discipline. And I think the Creator of sexuality calls us to be disciplined. But so often in the church, we really have repressed this area. We've tried to make singles asexual. Or we really haven't taken the time to embrace, I am a sexual being. I do get horny. I will have those moments when I'm just surging. And so I think we can do better at embracing our own sexual feelings and desire as single people and learning how to not repress that, to ignore it, to try to sit on it, to not necessarily kiss until your wedding day, but to be able to really embrace, I am a sexual being. I do want to find someone to be sexual with. I want to mate. I want to be married. And I will learn in this journey of singleness, I will think through a little bit better on how I can discipline my sexual urges, how I can discipline that desire, not ignore them, and truly try to just repress them. And so as I was working on my book on single sexuality, it just seemed important to me to be able to work on what we are doing and not just what we shouldn't do. And how we can really, again, like I was saying, develop a theology, develop a teaching, develop some guidelines that really look more fully at we are sexual beings and look more fully at how do I embrace this? And then I think it's good to know how we can learn to discipline, how true love can wait, and how we can work on this. But again, where I would start is you are a sexual being. Where I would start is God created that purposefully so. And that God really wants us to embrace our sexuality, our horny, wants us to be able to be intimate though, and to discipline it and to guide it into the channels so that we can really evolve into the sexual beings that He each designed us to be. So singles are sexual beings in really cool ways.